Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Defining Discipline podcast. I'm your host, Scott. Defining discipline is a lifestyle, a mentality, and a brand. And within this podcast, we're going to focus on self-improvement as you follow along with me on my journey. We will also hear from special guests of all walks of life on this podcast and their remarkable journeys that led them to where they are today. Today is day 39 of my journey. I decided at the beginning of the year to challenge myself to run 365 days out of the year. Today is day 39. I also challenged myself to run 1,250 miles this year. I am currently at 141 for the year. Last year was my first year consistently running throughout a year. I was never a runner growing up. It was something I kind of got into very late in October 2019. I decided I wanted to try to start running, and I did. And then from there, it just took off. So to 2020, COVID hit, and it gave me a good excuse to get out there and start running every day. I think I ran 176 times last year for a total of 1,000 miles. So that was really awesome. I actually set my goal for 1,000 miles in 1 year, and I was able to hit it. And I also set a goal of running my first marathon. They canceled the actual event of a marathon that I was supposed to run last year. So me and my buddy met up. We ran one. It was 26.1, and we were able to, I think we actually went over, I can't remember, 26.3, I think, or something. And I ran that in 5.5 hours. He ran it, I think, in 5. He could have definitely smoked me, but he waited up for me a lot until I told him just to keep going and leave me behind. But that kind of leaves us where we are at today, on day 39 of me challenging myself to run every single day out of this year. And we are at 141 miles out of 1,250. Last month for January, I challenged myself to the 100-mile challenge, knowing that I'm going to have to average that at least 100 miles to hit my goal. I challenged myself to the 100-mile challenge, and I started a fundraiser for the American Cancer Society that actually finished. We weren't able to hit the $400 goal, but we hit the $200 and the $300, and we were able to raise $380 for that fundraiser. And I was able to, I think, put in 104 miles for the month of January. And after I did that, I realized, you know what, I think I'm going to keep this going and doing 100-mile challenges every month. And every month I'm going to do a different fundraiser. So for the month of February, I decided to do, since it being Black History Month, to do a fundraiser that kind of evolved and would touch on that. So the fundraiser for February is for the Detroit Black Community Food Security Network. And if you wanted to know a little bit more about what they do, they work to build self-reliance and food security and justice in the Detroit's Black community by influencing public policy, engaging in urban agriculture, promoting healthy eating, encouraging cooperative buying, and directing youth towards careers in food-related fields. This being a healthy podcast that tries to promote exercise and being healthy and living healthy, having a healthy lifestyle, even a mentality, I thought that would be a perfect fundraiser, since it kind of deals with healthy food and urban agriculture. That's something that I also I'm very interested in. I do, in the summer I do a lot of growing my own vegetables. So I just thought this would be a good fundraiser to help out the Detroit community. I am located in the Metro Detroit area, so I want to do one that was local and one that touched the Black community that around here. So if you can, there is a fundraiser going through my personal Facebook page. I think we have the goal set at 200. Currently, we only have $40 donated. I made my donation, but if you can, please donate. It goes to a really good cause. And know that whatever donations you make on through the fundraiser on Facebook, that all of the percentage goes directly to the fundraiser. None of it, Facebook doesn't take any of it. They get no cut of it, which is a really cool thing. If you guys wanted to start your own fundraiser, it's kind of sweet that Facebook is not taking any percentage of the fundraiser, even though we're kind of using them as the middleman. but yeah, if you guys are unable to donate, I know times are tough right now. I understand that. That's no big deal. But if you can, do all you can to help. If you know, even if it's just sharing it and letting other people know, like, hey, um, this kid Scott's, you know, running all these miles and he's doing a fundraiser for this, um, for the Detroit Black community for food security network. You know, well, can you help out? Can you donate? Just share it. That goes a long way. That, you know, a lot of people don't really think about. You know, if you can't donate, no big deal, but you know, at least share it so other people will be able to see it and they might be able to donate. That being said, today is day 39, episode 39. I thought of this episode today. I wrote a little bit of something about it. It's nothing too much, but I want to get to it. This is something that I think a lot of us have lost, and that's kind of why we've lost our way. That's especially why I've lost my way for a while, and I realize the more I find this and the more I summon this, I guess you could say, the better my life, the better direction I'm putting myself in life. Um, but before that, I'm sorry, but before that, we were talking about the fundraiser for February. Just a quick heads up: today is February 8th, so we're 8 days into that fundraiser, and I have 34.7 miles for the month. Like I said, this is a 100 mile challenge for the month. I'll probably be smoke it out of the water, and I actually plan to probably put 125 in because of the God Bod challenge, which I want to throw in here real quick too. That is, I started it on day 33, and it is to go from day 33 to day 66 every single day, doing 33 push-ups and 33 sit-ups for 33 days straight, and all while attaining running 33 miles per week for 5 weeks within those 33 days. So I did get my push-ups in today. Today was day 7 of push-ups and sit-ups. I will throw that at the end of this video. If you're just listening audio, you won't get it, so you're not gonna hear me grunting and doing push-ups and sit-ups. But if you want to visualize it, you can go on the YouTube and watch the video and follow along. And if you want to try to do the God Bod challenge as well, that's awesome. That being said, though, let's get back into today's episode. Today being day 39 of the journey of running. That being said, guys, today's theme: imagination. It's funny how I find it funny how things can change so quickly. If you were to have asked me, you know, just 2 years ago where I imagined myself being today, you know, now, I honestly feel like the last thing I would have answered or told you would be that I was challenging myself and I was running every single day, training to eventually become an ultra marathoner. You know, if you were to tell me that's what I was going to do today 2 years ago, I would have told you to quit smoking crack or whatever. You know, I would have called you crazy. So with that being said, I kind of want to like delve deep into the idea of imagination and how sometimes just the littlest bit of it, you might find yourself on a completely different trajectory in life. You might find yourself completely heading somewhere you weren't expecting. You know, and like this whole idea of me running, you know, it, like I said, it started with just a little imagination, and now I'm going on a year and a half of like ritually running, and altogether I'm at, you know, from when I started really running, I'm at 1,244 miles later. I'm looking back and realizing, you know, how my imagination developed with me as I was developing. You know, how it started off me thinking I wasn't going to be able to do this, and then me thinking, oh, I am going to be able to do this. I'm going to be able to hit this one, you know. I believe I can imagine myself hitting this, and then after I get closer to it, I'm realizing, wait, I imagine myself even farther, And it's just how, like, the little bit of work towards your imagination of something can really develop and change you and change your whole life. I had reached like a real low point in my life where I I I've lost all my confidence in myself. I had like any passion I had in my imagination, it all fell by the wayside of my depression. Like I had no drive. I feel like I had nothing to look forward. I had no imagination of what I could be capable of. And I was on a downward spiral, filled with like disdain, jealousy, and spite for those succeeding in life where I was continuously failing. Like can remember like listening to, like, at the time I was super, into like doing my music and everything. And I listened to certain bands that were like super big, and I would be thinking like, how, like, I don't understand how people like this. Like, and it wasn't even part of it. I felt like wasn't even that it was jealousy or disdain or spite, but it was just like I couldn't really understand how some of these bands made it big. But I can't. Clearly, it has some kind of factor of jealousy in it, and the fact that I wasn't following my own dreams and I had lost my own imagination of where I could be in my life. And I was so focused on, what was out of my control that I lost my imagination. And I remember thinking like how people in certain situations, like in certain jobs I was having, how people were so bad at their jobs. And I would always think like they didn't deserve the amount of money they were making, I would do this without actually imagining like what their job had entailed them to do, or the amount of stress that job would put on them and what they'd have to deal with when executing those jobs. Like I wouldn't ever imagine myself in their position. I would just imagine myself doing their position better without actually thinking like, oh crap, like I don't want to do that. And it was actually like when I started to imagine myself in their positions or those situations that I realized like you couldn't pay me what you were paying those people to do those jobs they were doing. Like if you wanted me to do what they were doing, you would have to pay me like double that, and then I would probably still like snap and like not be there because like I just couldn't deal with it. And it was kind of like once I started imagining myself in other people's position, that's when I was able to start like imagining, like it was when I started imagining myself in those other people's positions that I kind of realized the importance of imagination and how that it can really affect you. And that was kind of when I started imagining myself in my future that I wanted to build for myself. And like I said before, it first started with just me. Like I imagined myself wanting to I remember wanting to walk and take my dogs at the time because I had two. My other dog Lucy passed this past September, but at the time in two Octobers in October 2019, I remember I started kind of really going for runs and everything because I wanted to take my dogs out and I wanted to make sure that I was giving them the best life I could give them. Like I felt bad because I didn't walk them enough and I didn't exercise them enough, and when I did walk them, it was always short. So I figured I wanted to start exercising, and what better way to do that by taking my dogs for runs. And I imagined myself just, with my dogs running. And eventually I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to start running with my dogs. Imagination filled it. And then I realized, this isn't so bad. I'm going to challenge. I can imagine myself running a marathon this year. And that was when 2020 came around, and I imagined myself, in late 2019, in December, as I'm imagining this, I started in October with the dogs, and I hit like November, and I see my progress, and I'm thinking I could hit 100 miles before this year's over. I got 3 months, I can hit 100 miles. So I imagined it, and I pushed myself to it, and once I'm getting closer to actually hitting this 100 miles, that's when I imagined that the marathon thing, like I was saying. I imagined myself, well, if I can run 100 miles within 3 months, I can run a marathon I can train and have a marathon done by October. Like I imagine myself, like I can do that. That's easy. And I had people trying to talk me down to not do that one and to do the half marathon and run it with them. And, like I focused on myself and thinking, like, I'm not going to step back onto other people's level. I need to stay on my level. And I realized I can imagine myself doing this, and I'm not going to do it if I keep pushing myself back. So, you know, January comes around and I start training for this marathon and start running. And then I go on a vacation and I go away for about a month, and I come back and I get back right back into training. And I remember telling myself, I imagine myself like imagining to myself that I could run the marathon, but in my head I'm like, I haven't even, like, I've been running a lot, but I haven't even ran a half marathon. I remember in my head just one day imagining, like, I think I can just run a half marathon today. Like, I haven't done it, and I'm going to need to if I'm going to run the marathon. Why not today? And I remember just going out in March this one day and just went out and ran, and it took me a long time, and I was beat by it, but I ran my first half marathon by myself, and I felt so accomplished. I couldn't, like, for me, starting off where I was to where I got, it was unbelievable. That my imagination of the half marathon, like, completely developed, and at that point I was like, I can start running these big mile, like, ultras. I can start pushing myself. Like, this is something I can see myself doing. I can imagine myself pushing myself to the limits to actually test myself and test my body to make sure that I can get through this and do this. And it's just so weird because like I said, it's from 2 years ago. I never ran, like, ever. Like, I would run one 5K every once in a while. My buddy would be like, hey, come run a 5K or something stupid. And that was the most I ever ran. Like, I'd maybe run one 5K a year for the past, like, I don't know, maybe I ran a total of 7 5Ks out of my whole entire life before I started running ritually. Like, it's just weird how when you imagine something, if you start working towards it, how something that seems so far out of your grip can come so close to your grip, that what you imagined to begin with has to keep developing to something bigger and bigger, because you're getting too close to what you imagined first, that you almost feel invincible, that you have to keep imagining more and imagine yourself pushing yourself more, and now I'm where I'm at today, doing different challenges of challenging myself to run 365 days out of the year, challenging myself to do these daily episodes talking to you guys. Like, it all started with my imagination of wanting to run outside with my dogs to better their lives and better my life. And now I'm on this whole journey, and just to think about it and how it all just started with just the littlest bit of my imagination. And now I'm here working towards becoming an ultra runner and becoming just someone that, like, again, focuses on health and focuses on well-being. Like, I'm a completely different person than I was 2 years ago, and I owe that all not just to my imagination, but to my hard work and to me wanting to change who I was. But without the imagination and without the strive towards accomplishing what I was imagining, I wouldn't be where I am today. That being said, like today is episode 39, and at the end of every episode, I leave you guys with a daily discipline. For your daily discipline today, I would love you guys to have your imagination back, to really imagine yourself in certain situations, ones that you criticize other people for being in all the time. Like, maybe actually imagine yourself in their situation before you criticize them. And on the opposite side of that spectrum, maybe imagine yourself in situations that you maybe think you couldn't be in. Something that's not too unattainable, but something that seems like you couldn't do. Like imagine yourself there and then start working towards it just a little bit and see how close you can come to what you imagined. And then once you get closer to it, you're going to realize, well, this is completely doable. I'm going to have to up my imagination to something better and keep working towards that better version of yourself in your imagination. Imagination is something I feel like we get taught and told about when we're little kids, and how, we have to have our imagination. And I feel like it's something that we kind of, as we get older and our egos start taking over, and some people's egos shoot up, some people's egos shoot down, where mine, I had an ego, but I lost my confidence, I feel like, around people. Other people are the exact opposite. They have ego and they have so much confidence, but I feel like once you get to a certain age, you kind of lose that imagination of getting things that may seem unattainable, even though they're right there within your reach. That being said, though, guys, I gave you guys a daily discipline of finding your imagination and imagining yourself in certain situations. Some being ones of people that you criticize, and two, some being you just in a certain situation in your life that would better your life. Like imagine yourself in either situations. Even imagine yourself, like I said, imagine yourself in a better situation in your own life, but also imagine yourself in a worse situation in your own life. And imagine what it takes, what decisions are, what's going to direct you in each way. Like what decisions will you make are going to push you towards that greater imagined life, and what decisions are going to push you towards that worse imagined life. And then back to the other point, imagine yourself in those situations, in those positions of those people you criticize, and maybe you'll see them in a different light. Other than that, guys, this has been a great journey. 39 days, every day, and now it's starting to bleed into every other day, and it's hard for me to even keep count of where I'm at. Sometimes I got to actually go back and check and see, hey, what day is it? I don't even know. But it's been super fun. I'm super excited to continue every day. I'm just doing this countdown of closer to 365, and it's like, I'm just getting built more and more up with more and more energy. It's like when I first started this, I thought I'd be a lot more tired and my body be a lot more broken from where I'm at today, but I actually feel really good. Some days I feel a little heavy and a little beat, but I feel really good, and I feel like I can really hit these goals this year and be able to run every day of the year and hit my 1250 goal, and be able to run my 50K that I joined for in June, and to be able to hit the marathon downtown this year. Feeling really good and really optimistic about all these this year. I need to get back onto my reading a lot. I've kind of fell off that, but it is what it is. I'm trying to get some stuff done around the house. But I want to close up today's episode, guys. At the end of this episode, after I finish closing this out, I will post the video of the push-ups and sit-ups, like I said, for the God Bod Challenge. Other than that, please, guys, if you can, give this page a like on our Facebook, on the Instagram, on our YouTube. Go on and listen to us on whatever podcast platform you prefer. Also, give us a like and a subscribe there. And if you can, guys, please share with your friends. Maybe you know someone who's in a rut right now and might need just a little bit of motivation to see that, someone that might be just like them. Like, I'm not that, active, athletic of a person. Yes, I played hockey when I was younger and stuff, but I got to the point where partying became more relevant to me than staying healthy. And, as someone who's partied for so long, I've gotten to the point now where I'm trying to turn my life around. And if you know someone who is in that same situation, who might need someone to talk to or just some inspiration, send them to this podcast, send them my way. I would love to talk to them, help them out if they want to start to get in running. I'm trying to start doing some run meetup groups. I know a few people I think have asked to try to start running with me. I know a lot of them, though, might not always want to run outside. So I'm trying to wait till the weather kind of breaks a little bit, and then I'm thinking about doing maybe Friday meetups or some kind one day a meetup of doing just different mileage for different people. We'll figure that out whenever that day comes. But I would love to start doing meetups and trying to build like a good defining discipline community of runners and just healthy habits and healthy diets, and just trying to start a good healthy community of people being able to push ideas off each other and just share a happy healthy life. That being said, guys, though, thank you for listening. Today again was episode 39. Today's theme was imagination, so please go find yours. Make sure you guys stay disciplined. I will see you guys tomorrow, and peace out.
February 8th, 2021, day 7 of the God Bod Challenge. Done.